Best and worst suburbs in Asheville, North Carolina. And in this video, I'm gonna break it down for you, starting from the worst and ending with the best. And the criteria I'm using to rank those so-called suburbs of Asheville, things like walkability, amenities, schools, home prices, and a variety of living options. And let me just preface this video by saying that again, like I said earlier, so-called suburbs probably not going to be what you expect or what you're familiar with or what you have in mind when you hear the word suburb, okay? Asheville is very different, and our suburbs are not very typical suburbs. So stay tuned for that. All of the suburbs are within about 15 to 20 minute drive to downtown Asheville. So distance to downtown Asheville is about the same. All right, so the worst one in my list, number 6, is Leicester, North Carolina. And I know some people might disagree with me, but here's why I ranked it number 6 and being the worst suburb. Walkability in Leicester is 0. On a scale from 1 to 5, I give it 0. Really, there's no walkable options here unless you are, parked right here and then walking into a convenience store or into the grocery store from the parking lot. There are really no places where you can walk. Some places, like, some neighborhoods where you can walk, they don't have sidewalks, but you can still walk in them. I do not take them into consideration. So walkability is 0. You're really gonna need a car if you decide to live in Leicester. And so Leicester, just to give you a better idea of what it's all about, Leicester is a mix of some traditional neighborhoods with HOAs and mostly properties that are outside of traditional neighborhoods with a lot more elbow room, lots of farms, lots of farmland, and everything is sprawled across rolling hills, and it is really stunning. It is so beautiful if you drive through Leicester. But just like pretty much everywhere else in Western North Carolina, it can also be kind of like a hodgepodge of mixed use of open use zoning. So there's a lot of open use land here, and it's not uncommon to drive to $1 million home or very, more expensive homes and see junkyards or trailer parks. Nothing against trailer parks, but that's just the reality of areas like Leicester. So why do people choose to come and move to Leicester? Well, the answer is it's because you get a lot more for your money, and typical properties here in Leicester have a lot more elbow room, have more privacy, so there's opportunity for that. Now, school district here in Leicester will be pretty much the same as people in Candler would use or will belong to. And according to greatschools.org, schools are rated 4 out of 10. But do your own research about all things schools, which one's good, which one's bad, why, there's a lot of things that go into school ratings. Median sales price right here in Leicester right now in summer of 2025 is $422,000. Again, it's a lot more affordable to be here in Leicester than to be in Asheville, although you are, 15-20 minutes away from downtown Asheville, and you do get a lot more for your money. And there's barely any amenities here in Leicester either. I mean, there's a post office, a few local places, I would say probably like 2.5, 3. There's a convenience store, another place to eat, a barbecue place, That's about it. A few tire shops, a few random, used car dealership. Ingles grocery store is not even technically in Leicester, but it's on the way to Leicester. That's about it. For everything else, you would have to go to either downtown Asheville would be the closest, or the West Asheville, where a lot of great local restaurants, coffee shops, all that kind of stuff is located. And by the way, keep in mind that those rankings are according to the criteria that I picked for them. And those are walkability, number of amenities, schools, price point and what you can get for the money, and variety of different living options. Obviously, every suburb that I cover in this video is super popular with certain people, to each their own. So keep that in mind. Somebody doesn't like one place, somebody else for sure will love that place for a different reason. Location, location, location means different things for different people. With that, number 5 on the list from worst to best is Fairview. Fairview is located kind of southeast of downtown Asheville. It's an area that is known for traditional mountain communities, farms, and horse properties. There's a ton of farms and horse properties the farther you go into Fairview. Walkability, I would say I'll give it maybe 1 at best, just because there's at least one place, and this is the plaza where I'm at right now, Eastwood Village Plaza. And technically, it's not even in Fairview. Fairview starts technically like a mile or 2 down the road. And this would be the only kind of walkable place. And people who live in the neighborhood that's kind of adjacent to Eastwood Village. On the other side, there's single-family homes, condos, townhomes, and apartments all the way in the back. They can technically come and walk right here, have lunch. I think there's a Subway somewhere here, Dunkin' Donuts, a car wash, a few other places. So walkability is 1. As far as amenities go, not a whole lot. There's 2 grocery stores, and again, one across the street, Ingles grocery store, is not even technically in Fairview city limits or Fairview limits. So there's Ingles and Food Line. Both of them are honestly outdated and not that, up to speed. Everything else would be in a very close proximity. You just straight shot all the way to Asheville, and the next exit is where you have Whole Foods and all other places like Target, Lowe's, all other shopping. But right here, that's about it. There's a few random businesses, just like everywhere else in Buncombe County outside of Asheville, rock selling place and tire shops, gas station, few local restaurants and breweries that are, very popular with locals. A little small gym down the road, right off of the road with, a tight-knit community. In general, Fairview has a very tight-knit community. Everyone knows everyone. They have, just like many other parts of town, have their own Facebook group. So everyone knows everyone. If you live in Fairview, you will belong to A.C. Reynolds High School, and on gradeschools.org, it ranks 7 out of 10. So not bad. Median sales price here in Fairview is in the upper 500s. And for the most part, again, you're looking at single-family homes, either in mountain communities, some of them are quite upscale, or outside of traditional HOAs with much more elbow room. And again, those horse properties are not cheap. They come at a pretty high price point. So those are the options when it comes to living in Fairview. By the way, if you are a local, let me know in the comments if you disagree with any of my ratings, or maybe I missed something. Let me know what you think, where you live, and what I should have included. Number 4 on the worst to best list of suburbs in Asheville is Candler. So walkability here in Candler, I would give it maybe a 1, just because there's at least one little plaza where you can walk around, from like YMCA to a coffee shop to a grocery store, but that's about it. Again, unless you live in a neighborhood like Biltmore Lake, that is kind of sort of in Candler. There's nowhere to walk in Candler. Candler is known for traditional communities. Some of them are quite upscale, like Biltmore Lake, and a lot of properties that either in HOA or outside of HOA, but with a lot more elbow room than what you would see in Asheville. It is, again, stone's throw away from downtown Asheville or from the West Asheville, so very close to all the Asheville amenities, while here you're not gonna see a lot. I mean, there's a bank, Ingles grocery store that's right behind me, and few other kind of hodgepodge businesses, tire shop places, YMCA is there, so that's a plus. But the farther you go into Candler or farther you go in, away from the main road, which is Smoky Park Highway, that's the road behind me, you're not gonna see any amenities. All you see is properties, traditional neighborhoods, properties on acreage, and that's about it. And so Candler offers this, I would say nice mix of rural and suburban living. Also, Candler, just like any other area right around Asheville, right outside of Asheville, it's not going to be your typical suburb, because back when Asheville was a lot smaller, all the commercial, industrial stuff and industrial facilities, of course, were pushed out of town and had to be outside of town on the outskirts. So now these outskirts became very popular and became all those suburbs. And so I would say 30% of Candler, you would see all these kind of, you scratch your head and like, where am I? Will be more like an industrial or commercial type of places, just like place around right behind me that you cannot see from here, but right across from Ingles, right across from Biltmore Lake. As you leave Biltmore Lake, you'll see this plant or semi-truck parking spots. So stuff like that. People come here for more elbow room, to get more for their money, and to have still that close proximity to West Asheville and Asheville in general. Median sales price here in Candler is also in the lower 400s, and again, just like other areas, other parts of Buncombe County, you will get a lot more for your money. When it comes to variety of living options, for the most part, you will just see single-family homes. There are some condos and townhomes in the area in Candler, but for the most part, it is single-family homes in or mostly outside of traditional HOAs. Now, people who live in Candler, especially the ones with kids, will have few options in terms of schools and activities for kids, and school ratings, according again to gradeschools.org, range anywhere from 2 to 8 out of 10, depending on the school. There's elementary schools and middle school, high school here in the area. Again, do your own research. I'm gonna put a link down in the description where you can actually find out exactly which school district you will belong depending on the address in Buncombe County. So, tipping the scale and moving towards better and best suburbs of Asheville, North Carolina. And number 3 is Black Mountain. Black Mountain is actually another town just east of downtown Asheville, about 20 minutes downtown to downtown. And boy, it is a bougie little town. It is so attractive to so many people because of its walkability. You can walk all around downtown, the center, where you have restaurants, cafes, coffee shops, breweries, galleries. There's a variety of different options right there in downtown, and streets like this lead all the way to downtown, so you can walk all around it. There's a lot of properties that are located in the vicinity that make it easy for you to walk to downtown and walk around town. So in terms of walkability, I would give it 4 or 5 on the scale of 0 to 5. You can walk, like I said, around downtown. If you live on the other side of highway, Cheshire Village has its own little plaza where you can eat and drink, and there's a little store, so you can walk around there and walk to places, not just within the neighborhood. There's a YMCA right on the other side of Cheshire Village. So very walkable, lots of local places, not a lot of amenities, meaning there's only, English grocery store. Everything else, major shopping, will have to happen in Asheville, which again is about 20 minutes down the highway. So not too far, but right there in downtown or in Black Mountain, there's not a whole lot of other shopping outside of little boutique stores and shops and stuff like that. When it comes to schools, school ratings, again, according to gradeschools.org, is anywhere from 2 to 4 out of 10. So it doesn't look good, but I know we have friends who had their kids in one of the schools here in Black Mountain and they loved it. Asheville Christian Academy is also located in Black Mountain, but kind of on the outskirts of Black Mountain. So it's a private school, very popular. A lot of people know about it and want to be in it. I know some people who didn't do their due diligence and moved to the area, discovered later, and didn't really like the fact that one of the schools is right next to Swananova Correctional Facility for Women. It's literally right next door. Some people didn't like that, so just want to put it out there. But outside of that, there's, again, you can move around the county, you can transfer within the county as long as there is availability in that other school district. Now, the reason I put it in number 3, not number 2 or number 1, is because price point. You are not going to get as much for your money here in Black Mountain. Median sales price right now in summer of 2025 in Black Mountain is $527. It's very close to Asheville, and in fact, it's very close to Weaverville, but you are not gonna get as much for your money as you will in some other parts of Buncombe County for the same money, in the same price point. So it's a very attractive place. It's a very attractive little town, but it's not that affordable. Living options are different, from single-family homes that are all around downtown in walking distance to single-family homes in more traditional communities. There's not a whole lot of apartments and not a whole lot of condos and townhomes, although there are a few little communities like that. So here's another idea. If you want to invest in the Asheville area, this area would be a good fit because there's not a lot of apartments. So investing in a long-term rental might not be a bad idea if you have the money. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, relocating to the Asheville area, reach out to me and my team. Our contact information is down in the description, and we will be more than happy to walk you through the process. It is absolutely free, no strings attached consultation. Have nothing to lose. Number 2, or second best suburb of Asheville, is Weaverville. Technically, Weaverville is actually a town of its own, but for the purposes of this video, and because a lot of people kind of treat it as Asheville suburb, I'm gonna name it second to the best suburb of Asheville. Weaverville walkability, I would say on a scale from 1 to 5, it's number 4. It is very walkable, especially considering that there's a downtown and there's quite a few little neighborhoods, or they're not neighborhoods, they don't have HOAs, although some do, where you can walk from those neighborhoods into downtown. So you can walk in downtown, walk around town, walk to coffee shops, restaurants, different businesses that are all lined along the main street in downtown Weaverville. Weaverville in general has quite a few amenities. It is very close to Asheville, but you do not even need to go to Asheville because it's got several grocery stores, Ingles, of course, Publix, Aldi, then they have Lowe's and Walmart. They even have Hobby Lobby. I mean, how cool is that? So all that is in Weaverville. Downtown Weaverville is also where they have a lot of events, festival, Christmas parade, and all those kind of community events and things to do. And right outside of downtown Weaverville, you have Lake Louise, where there's a playground for kids. You can come fishing here or just walk around. There's a trail right around it. So you really would not need to go anywhere. Certainly you do not need Asheville if you live in Weaverville to enjoy a variety of different amenities. Median sales price in Weaverville is in the low 500s, so it's a little higher than I actually expected, but you're definitely gonna get a lot more for your money, for the same money here in Weaverville than you will in Asheville. So when it comes to living in Weaverville and different living options, you have a pretty wide range. You have everything from gated upscale communities to traditional communities in higher price point, in more of a, in line with median sales price point, to homes that are outside of communities, no HOA, in walking distance to downtown. There's apartments, there's condos, there's townhomes. So it has a pretty good variety of living options. Full ratings is between 4 and 8 out of 10. Again, do your research. Asheville City District is not that far, and within the county you can transfer as long as there is a spot. So do your research. Let us know in the comments what you think about Weaverville, if you've been here or maybe you live here. And so Weaverville offers a more laid-back, quieter lifestyle that is, again, stone's throw away from Asheville, from downtown Asheville, but just kind of far enough where you don't have to deal with kind of a busyness of Asheville. It has quite a few locals' favorite restaurants and places to go eat, meet with the family, do things there. Great sense of community. So those are some of the reasons that a lot of people are moving to Weaverville. And the best suburb in Asheville, drumroll, I had to give it to Arden. Arden is located just south of downtown. It's just past South Asheville, more south. And it is full of it. So anything that you may possibly need, whether you are retired, whether you have kids, you do not have kids, you're single, you're divorced, it doesn't matter. You will find it here in Arden. It's going to be the most populated and congested suburb and part of county in general, because it has everything, because it's so popular. Walkability in Arden is, I have to give it 1, 2 at best. Again, outside of some neighborhoods where you can walk and they have trails and all that, public places, there's only maybe one. Biltmore Park, that's right behind me, is the only place where you can not just walk around like on, sidewalks and there's trails within the neighborhood, but you can walk 2 places. The biggest movie theater is right there in Biltmore Park. There's a hotel, there's offices, all kinds of offices, there's restaurants, coffee shop, REI store, and a bunch of other stores. YMCA gym with indoor pool is also in Biltmore Park. So it's a great place to live and walk around. But that's the only place here in Arden. In general, as far as amenities, like I said, it has everything. It will make you feel kind of, right at home, because you will recognize all these places. But it also start having a lot of local restaurants and local businesses that pop up in Arden, which we love and welcome, and everything else. Bunch of schools, there's private schools, there's public schools, there's charter schools, there's a ton of daycares, there's a ton of places for kids, for families with kids. There's, I think, all indoor places for kids are located right here in the Arden area. So if you live in a different part of town, you would have to come to Arden to take your kids on a rainy day to inside or indoor place to entertain them or occupy them. The airport is an exit away. 2 big hospitals are within about 10-15 minutes. One is more south, one is more north, closer to downtown. Bunch of urgent cares, doctor's offices, I mean, you name it, Arden probably has it, which is why I ranked it number 1. Median price point in Arden right now is in the low 500s, and this price point is really diluted because the variety of living options in Arden is also, I feel like, the greatest. Anything from very traditional, gated, upscale, country club kind of neighborhoods like the Cliffs at Walnut Cove, to more affordable traditional neighborhoods, not gated, to properties that just, are located outside of traditional HOAs. There's apartments, there's condos, there's townhomes. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking for something that has everything and you do not mind a little bit of congestion, which, it's all about perspective. If you're coming from a big city, if you're coming from a real city, this traffic problem that everyone talks about here is not going to be that noticeable. But give yourself a few years and you will be complaining just like everyone else here. So I am curious now, with all being said about all the suburbs and my ratings, what do you mostly agree and disagree with? Put it in the comments. And if you need help narrowing down which part of town, which part of the county, what suburb, what little town is the right fit for you and your family, reach out to me and my team. Our contact information is down in the description, and I'll catch you on the next one.